Welcome to the State of Jags address, where we confirm that people suck, so you don't have to. I'm Greg, he's Chris. You know, I thought about, and this was something that I've done before on some of my previous endeavors, just introducing ourselves as different names every episode, even though it's the same two people.
Just start confusing people. I don't know who these Jags are, but...
Oh, boy. We had a fun first episode. We covered a lot of stuff that you saw how the stream of consciousness worked for us. It was kind of absurd.
And then, either fortunately or unfortunately, this show will be probably much of the same. Kind of how we roll.
We just get off onto tangents. And I don't know how we get from point A to point B. We go from A to B to W to X to Batman symbol. It's ridiculous. There's very little cohesiveness.
I mean, that's why we decided to record these conversations.
Exactly.
Now we can figure out, how do we get to this state of mind here? Oh, we can figure it out.
So I edited the first episode. I still don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Hey, a little bit of a recap for first show. Our first Jag of the week was Elon Musk.
Yeah. Boy, did we spend some time on him. So if you listened, whether it was on Spotify or Amazon Music or wherever you listen to the podcast, hopefully Apple carries the podcast this time. I was having trouble with it. Hopefully you can hear us on Apple Podcasts for this episode. If not, I'll try for episode 3. Yeah, we went in deep on Elon Musk because dude's out of his mind. Like he can claim all this intelligence, he's got these degrees and whatnot, but like he has the social awareness of a slug.
I think that might be giving too much credit.
I tried to think of what was less than a slug. It was the first thing that popped into my mind.
Well, I mean, a reason why I brought him up is because our next Jag of the week, they had some words recently apparently, and so our Jag of the week this week is going to be Kanye West or Ye or Ye or however that pronounces his name change now.
We could probably do a series of episodes on him.
This man is all over the place.
He has lost. Like I thought it was bad 20 years ago when he said George Bush didn't care about black people. Like that should have given the first indication that he was a little bit off his rocker. But everybody just kind of went with it. And now 20 years later,
I feel like people have just accepted dude's crazy and dude doesn't know what he's talking. So there's like, what kind of crazy shit is he going to come up with now?
I mean, what would be concerning is if he did know what he was talking about.
You know what? That man ran for president.
Yes, he did. He probably got votes.
He got votes.
Okay, seriously. I mentioned last time that I tried to run for president, and people voted for this jag. Like how do I gotta go crazy on the former Twitter? I'm not gonna go like as nuts as Kanye went because I don't think that's possible. Like he makes Antonio Brown look like he's got a good head on him.
Looking at some of the stuff I've put up here on Kanye West Wikipedia, I really think he wrote it.
Yeah, one of the most prominent figures in hip hop. It seems like, because who starts with Ye?
Well,
it's Ye.
It's Ye.
It's Ye. Okay, that's what I was thinking. Like,
it makes sense. It
makes sense because that's how the second half of his name is pronounced. So, who starts with Ye? Like, that's not his name. Yeah, I definitely think he wrote it.
One of the most prominent figures in hip hop. Says who?
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. Like back in 2007-ish, I listened to a couple of his songs. They weren't bad.
I think the only song I can actually list from him is Gold Digger.
I
guess Stronger. Stronger there too. Yeah. I guess
he had that song E.T. with Katy Perry, but that was more of a Katy Perry song. Yeah, I didn't exactly seek out his albums. You know what I mean?
I don't think anybody really sought out his albums. It's almost like he was shoving them down people's throats. Like, you will listen to me.
I'm trying to read some of this. I'm not very familiar with Kanye West's body of work. Like those 3 songs, I think that's about it.
Because those 3 songs would have got some mainstream attention.
Exactly.
And
so if you're asking me for a Kanye West deep cut, you're asking the wrong person.
that's not what we're doing here. We're just making fun of the guy because he's a Jag. Especially with his more recent.
We could do an episode just on the last week of Kanye stuff.
I really wish he wouldn't have deleted his ex account, his former Twitter account.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's a gold mine of stuff.
I'm sure there's a history of it. I'm sure he's gonna come back in like a couple days.
And what I think is interesting, President Trump had his ex, suspended or deleted. I'm not sure, I can't remember which one.
Right.
And then Elon Musk, oh, you can't be doing that. It's free speech, blah, blah, blah. Well, then he goes and deletes Kanye's account. How can he do that and not be called a hypocrite?
I mean, anybody involved in politics is a hypocrite. Let's be honest. But I think it's a little different with Kanye because Kanye was, I don't know if I want to say far worse than Trump, because Trump's not exactly like the standard bearer of role model, you know what I mean? But Kanye was just like, I mean, he was praising Hitler for crying out loud, like openly praising Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, he was.
So that's not exactly a forgivable thing. You know what I mean?
See, this says Kanye West deletes his ex account after anti-Semitic post, but I think the X itself actually. Oh, that's a video. I don't want to play that. Yeah. I really thought, the former Twitter, they had something to do with it. Oh yeah, right here. Musk did not remove West's account, but he did censor him, sort of.
So he limited his account.
Yeah.
Which.
It is different than what happened to President Trump, I guess, because he couldn't use it at all.
Yeah.
But still, I mean.
And I think, again, that was a political thing. Elon didn't own Twitter at that point.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I didn't even think about that. That was before.
That was before Elon spent $44 billion on the biggest waste of money.
And the absolute worst deal ever, according to some banks.
Man, I wish I had half of that. Like $22 billion. Do you know how much I could do with that? That wouldn't be just shit posting on the internet.
We're going to get off on a tangent right away here.
Here we go.
Some of these people that have all this money, they have to, I shouldn't say they have to, but they've pledged a certain amount to it of their money to organizations. But as of right now, they haven't. Look at Elon Musk, for example. Yeah. He's pledged, 1% of his total worth, either before he dies or in his will to certain charities and certain other organizations. But most of those organizations that he's pledged to all fall back to either his interest, his family's interest, or his brother's interest.
And we talked about that last episode. That very much seems like a conflict of interest.
Yeah, it's not good. It's really not.
It's very shady, but these are the people that have the money, folks. You want to talk about, let's tax the 1%. It's like, buddy, that's your politicians and your these people in power. They're not going to be taxed.
They're making the tax law so they can get around it.
Mm-hmm. You think it's just like, these CEOs and these people in power, they're going to have to pay their fair share. It's going to fall back on you.
My favorite time of year, absolute favorite time of year, not Christmas, not Halloween, it's tax time. Because I have a shirt. And my shirt says, taxation is theft. Mm. I wear that when I get my taxes done. It just makes me feel good inside.
I mean, something about taxes has to, I guess.
Yeah, and here we go. I don't mind paying taxes.
Yeah.
I really don't. And that means a lot coming from a libertarian. But I'd feel a lot better about paying them if I, for one, knew exactly where my money was going.
Right.
And if it actually went to the things that they said it's going to go to. Mm-hmm. Like, locally here, our local tax. Our infrastructure is shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's falling apart. So where is our tax money going? It ain't going to our roads and bridges, man.
Probably into somebody's pockets. The problem with it is like you said, we don't know where it's going. It's supposedly going into some like general fund or something. I wish we could determine, like, as individual citizens, where our tax money goes. Like, we would have like a selection, almost like a buffet of choices.
Yeah.
Like, why can't we have that?
Almost like a 401k, but for taxes.
Like if you don't agree with something politically, then your taxes go to something you do agree with politically.
Well,
and that could really determine, like...
And in theory, that's a phenomenal idea. Yeah. But in practice, how polarized the nation is right now, you'd have $10 in every single little thing, and nothing would ever get done.
Well, that's not true, because you'd have half the people supporting the one side, half the people supporting the other side. You'd have, like, an equal fund for everything. So...
Which could open a whole other can of worms.
I try to come up with good ideas, but you see where that's got me.
We're just the small people here in America. Our ideas don't really matter when it comes to the grand scheme of things.
We don't have that power. Speaking of, like, going back to Kanye for...
As long as we can manage here.
As long as we can manage. So he showed up to the red carpet. I don't know if it was like the Oscars or the Grammys I don't pay attention to
I think Golden Globes is the most recent.
Whatever. Like all the award shows blend together.
Yeah.
They're all the same. I never watch any. I don't think I've watched a single like award show ceremony in full ever, quite frankly. I don't think I've sat down and watched half an hour. I'm immediately bored. Here's a bunch of rich people giving themselves awards and patting themselves on the back.
I think the only thing I've ever really watched is like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's not even an award show.
I watched like certain pieces, like some of the performances.
Yeah.
And then, that's it. I'm done. Like award shows,
Well, the Hall of Fame's different than an award show because that's like an induction ceremony.
Yeah, it is. You know what? The last award show I watched, Nickelodeon.
Yes. Okay. That's pretty much it. Like the Kids' Choice Awards, I think the last one I watched was like early 2000s, maybe.
Yeah. That used to be the thing to watch when we were kids.
That was the only award show worth watching.
Yeah.
Just to see who would get slimed.
Exactly that. Bring back sliming, and I'm in for the Golden Globes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you slime your participants, I'm in. I'm going to watch.
Now, if they have votes on who gets slimed, like American Idol, you can vote for who you want to see slimed. Weigh in.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll buy votes.
$1.99 per vote. Be like, I'm spending $100 on voting for this person. Yeah, that would make war shows way more fun. But the way they are now, it's like, okay, there's not much going on with them.
So going back to Kanye and the award show, see what we're doing here. Yeah. Didn't they him and his wife get kicked out?
That's what they said. I've heard conflicting reports that they got kicked out. But it's because, and I don't think you'll be able to pull up pictures here, but it's because his wife, Bianca, what's her last name? Sensori?
Yeah.
But Bianca's attire was basically like, I don't know. You could see everything. Like there was no imagination needed. She was essentially naked with like the thinnest layer of fabric that I've ever seen.
And this is not the first time they've done this. Just not too long ago, they were on vacation in some European country, and I believe they were doing stuff on a boat. Like I think it was Italy, I want to say. I don't know why that sounds right, but they got told they had to leave, I believe.
Okay,
let's look it up. So they weren't kicked out of the Grammys. It was the Grammys they were not kicked out of. They left before the ceremony started.
Okay. So but why were they there?
Because he was nominated for Best Rap Song for his song Carnival.
Well, apparently he wasn't going to win.
They haven't said why they left. I really think that there's a blurred out picture.
It's just ridiculous. It was just an attention thing.
That has to be all it is.
And like clearly his wife is either like, I don't know, like if she's like controlled by him or if she just has no shame. Like I don't know what's going on with her. To the fact that you would just show up, pose naked in front of a bunch of red carpet reporters, like essentially naked. Like, and the fabric that she was wearing was basically.
Is it her or is it him?
probably him. I've seen reports that he is trying to make his wife Kim Kardashian, and they look similar.
They do kind of look similar.
They look
don't
similar.
They?
Like
Yeah,
like
they do.
the divorce that he had with Kim messed him up really bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to believe because, again, I don't know him.
See, in this picture, it's from the back, so you can't see anything.
Well, yeah.
But like, it looks like she's not wearing anything.
Exactly. Like I said, there's like a very thin layer. I think you can see like around her shoulder. Right
Yeah,
now. There's
a
like
little
the
bit there.
thinnest layer of like a quote unquote dress, but she is basically naked on the red carpet. And again, that's what's dominating the headlines. Do you know who won any of the Grammys? I don't.
Nope, absolutely.
I know
not.
this stuff though.
Yep.
That's only because Jen like watched a TikTok of it.
Well, this is the drama. This is exactly what they wanted, shock and awe type of deal. To draw attention to himself. He's going to be doing something. Well, look what he did recently this week on X.
He went completely off the rails. I don't know if he's on like drugs or what his problem is. But he is completely unhinged. Like he needs a therapist in the worst way.
Question would be, would any therapist be willing to work with him? Because he's so
Well, I mean,
he's so self-absorbed, self-centered. He is God's gift to this earth.
if I was a therapist, I'd probably take him. He could afford me. That's my point. He's got a lot of money. These are the kind of people that we're complaining about, though, because it's like the people. I'll segue to something else in a second. These are the people that have control of a ton of the money. Kanye West's net worth as of January 2025 was estimated at $2 billion.
Billion with a B. And the thing is, people can't fathom, unless they have that much money, they can't fathom how much money that actually is.
No. Like, if I had, like, $200,000 at once, I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
No.
And this guy's got $2 billion and is parading his wife around like she's some kind of strange sex toy. It's gross in a number of ways.
Didn't he do this type of thing too when he was with Kim, though?
I don't know.
Parade her around?
I don't know if it was as bad with Kim or as noticeable, but I feel like Kim Kardashian, since she had her own like PR and whatnot, they kind of reeled her back or whatever to like not go along with his insanity.
Yeah.
I don't know like if he's ever been right in the head.
Well, he has moments of clarity. I will give him that. 'Cause, I mean,
between now.
Not recently, but like in the past. He has had a few moments of where, okay, this guy isn't stupid.
He's just off his rocker.
He's just out there. But anymore, he's just complete and utter jag.
If you want to talk about off the rails, like he's not even in the train station. That's how far off the rails he is.
Well, now see, this says that his net worth is now $400 million. And it looks like that's due to he had a deal brand with Adidas.
And like the anti-Semitic comments that he made, like
Yeah.
offending massive groups of people does not seem like a good idea. First of all, in a like morality sense,
especially that group of people.
Yeah, like the Jewish community is not one you want to fuck with.
No,
at all. And people have gotten in serious trouble with their anti-Semitism, as they should. Like anti-Semitism, racism, any of that shit. You should obviously get in trouble for that shit.
That also falls back on, well, we have freedom of speech in this country, but not freedom from consequences for your speech.
That's another thing,
and
too.
People don't understand that. Freedom of speech is only from your government, not from an individual on the street.
And I think, especially with Twitter, going back to Twitter, because we're always going to go back there somehow, people post the most insane stuff over there, and really on any social media, but Twitter especially. And since there's no one there to punch them in the face, they feel like they can say whatever they want.
Yeah.
They fully live in the freedom of consequences. Like, I've heard stories. I'm a wrestling fan. There was a young Japanese wrestler who was getting bullied. I believe her name was Hana Kimura. Forgive me if I'm wrong with that, but she was bullied significantly on Twitter, and she took her own life. Like, I feel like the people who caused that should have to suffer some sort of arrest, jail time, like something worse.
It's almost to the point where it's like an involuntary manslaughter type of
exactly
charge,
because like their actions, while they didn't directly cause it, kind of indirectly caused her to do that because of what they were saying.
They didn't pull the trigger or hang the noose, but they forced her to it.
They led her to it for sure. Like they drove her into that state of mind.
Exactly.
So yeah, that should fall under like an involuntary manslaughter type thing. Exactly. But of course, it being the internet, people again think they can say whatever they want, get away with the consequences. That's why you see some of the most outlandish stuff you've ever seen on Twitter. Because first of all, if somebody sees your post, they're gonna go crazy. But I don't know. I feel like there should be some sort of retribution for what you post online. I've said this too, that to use social media, you should have to have a license. Like you should have to have like we have to have a license to have guns. We have to have a license to vote, a license to, we have to get background checks and stuff to even like be able to fly without going through TSA and whatever.
Well, being devil's advocate here, that could come back to some people say, like a dog license or a driving license, driver's license.
Yeah.
Why do we have to have that when it's a right? Like, we have a free right to travel anywhere we want to travel. Right. Why do I have to be licensed by the state in order to do it? And it's the same thing with this. Like, why would I have to be licensed by the state to say you are allowed to do something when it's essentially free to do?
Because there are people who abuse that right. That's exactly what it comes down to. Is like there are people who take freedom too far to the point where they ruin it for everybody. And that's why we have so many damn laws in this country, because stupid people ruin things for everybody.
Online Safety Act of 2023 is a UK law that regulates online speech and media. So this is kind of like I think it was last year, people were on Instagram or one of the social media platforms. They were really hounding the UK police force. And the chief was like, we will come over there and we will arrest you and we will extradite you over to England for these offenses that you're committing according to our crime law. That's what this falls back on, to the Safety Act that the UK is trying to do.
See, I agree with some of this to an extent. Like, I think that no minors should be using social media at all.
Oh, they're not supposed to.
They're not supposed to, but they still do.
That falls back on age verification, and the parentals.
I was somebody who said that, like, I know Twitter has their quote-unquote verification service, which you can pay for. Again, complete bullshit. Listen, I paid for like a couple months just to like grow my brand a little. When I tell you that it did less than shit, what a fucking waste of money.
You know, when he cusses, he's serious about something.
I am absolutely serious. It pissed me off.
The number of cuss words I've heard Greg say, I can count on one hand almost.
I mean,
so I know
half of them were last week. But it's so ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I came up with an idea. I don't know if there's any like truth to this or if anybody's thought about this, that everybody should have to verify themselves for social media, like upload a driver's license. Like you're getting a job. Like you need 2 forms of verification to get a freaking job in this country.
You do.
Like, so why not have that for social media? So that way you have to verify yourself. And it's like, if you want to post these opinions, if you want to like throw these hate comments about it, you need to have your face attached to it.
Yeah, that way they can come after you if the offense is serious enough.
Yeah. And that way people won't be as big of a coward, because there are people who hide behind profile pictures of somebody else, of their dog, of like a character on TV or whatever. And they say whatever they want. It's like, you don't know me from Adam. So
these keyboard warriors
exactly
will say anything that they want to because they think they can, because there's
no consequence. And that's how they spend a lot of their time. It's like these online trolls who have nothing better to do, who could easily find a porn site and make themselves happy and make everybody else not miserable. Like, they could do that instead. Not that I'm advocating for porn, but like, there's better uses of their time than what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, go play a video game, go outside, touch some grass, crying out loud.
Well, right now it'd be touch some snow and ice, but
Even that would be better.
dude, speaking of snow and ice, man,
Oh boy.
I did a polar plunge this past weekend.
You are nuts for doing that. But,
Dude. So I did it the year prior, and it wasn't bad.
yeah.
I fully submerged myself. It was a lot of fun. This year, it was the absolute worst experience I've ever had. And I've had some bad experiences. But like, as soon as I hit that water, I was numb. It felt like 1,000 knives. So the movie Titanic,
Yeah.
when Jack is explaining to Rose, if she jumps off, what it's going to feel like when she hits that water. And he's like, it's going to be like 1,000 knives stabbing all over your body. That's what it was like.
I bet.
It was horrible. And everyone that I talked to said the same thing. Like, for some reason, like, the water was just really cold this year, and it sucked.
Well, you figure, like, what, 2 weeks ago or so, it was like negative 15 outside. So that didn't help.
I mean, and the lake had 10 inches of ice on it.
Yes, so that didn't help
It
either.
was just insane amount of ice on it they had to cut out. And, but the last year, I think there was about the same amount of ice on there, but it wasn't nearly as bad. And I think it was a colder. No, I think the ambient temperature was warmer last year, so maybe that has something to do with it. But it was just atrociously bad.
That's not something you would ever catch me dead doing. Actually, if I did do it, you would probably catch me dead because I can't swim and I hate the cold.
I got in like a little over my waist. I'm like, screw this, I am done. And I jumped out.
Yeah.
And like went up to locker room to change. I couldn't feel the towel drying my legs off. Like, that's how numb I was. I couldn't feel my feet on the concrete floor.
That's concerning.
I was like, this is ridiculous.
Because doing stuff like that always makes me concerned because that could be like a frostbite type situation.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Like, hypothermia can set in super quick.
Yeah.
In water.
Especially if you submerge.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, I'm just going to sit here for like 30 seconds. It's like, no, well, then you'll come out with 8 toes.
Yeah, the waiver we had to sign is pretty
Extensive, I'm sure.
It's like, this can cause death.
You have to pay for that?
So, yeah, you pay to do it.
Oh my God. That
So,
sounds worse.
But the thing is, so the money you pay goes towards programs for kids at the park.
Okay, so that's not as bad.
So, like that-
if it's like a charitable raise
Yeah,
money
it's going towards, like, so all the money that was raised from this event, the park puts it towards, they do a Easter egg hunt, so it buys all the candy for that.
Okay.
It buys the candy for their Boo Bash, their trunk or treat they have out there,
Yeah.
and does a couple other things for the kids out there. So, I mean, it was worth the money I paid. It wasn't much, like $25, you know?
Right.
You get a shirt out of it. And some bragging rights that you did it, you know? But, yeah, if I had to pay, like, $30 and it was just a line of someone's pocket, I wouldn't be doing it.
Oh,
But no,
absolutely
it
not.
goes to a good cause. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, I can suffer for 2 minutes for a good cause.
That's fair. Like that makes it more doable, I think. The fact that it actually goes to raise money for programs, that's fine.
Yeah, it all goes right back in the park and right
I'm
back.
still not doing it.
I think next year I'll convince you to do it. It's fun.
No, you're not. Dude, I can't swim, so no, you're not convincing
It's
me
okay.
to do it.
They have the Oil City water team there.
Yeah, but I would be sitting in the water long enough for them to get me, and I would lose toes. So no, I'm not doing
And
it.
the cool thing is they have this other program called, so you can either be a polar bear or you can be a chicken.
What? I'm a chicken. I'll tell you that
You
right
can
now.
just dibble your feet in there and you can walk out.
Why go to the beach? Like, I cower a little bit when I first touch the water, and that water's 70 degrees. I don't like cold unless I'm in bed covered up with like 4 layers of blankets.
Yeah, it was cold this year.
I believe it was cold.
It was rough this year.
Call me a bitch if you want. I'll say it. I'm a bitch. I don't like the cold.
Ooh, going back to our Jag of the week.
Oh, boy.
Kanye West Yeezy brand is selling only one thing: a swastika T-shirt.
This idiot.
Now, is that I mean, it's on Forbes.
$20 for a swastika t-shirt.
Now, I almost wonder, is this dude really that dumb?
Yes.
Or is this a ploy? Because people are going to buy these. And is it a ploy just to single out these other idiots, these other Jags, that actually truly believe this nonsense, so we can identify them and then do what needs done?
This is where celebrity worship goes to. Not that I think celebrity worship is good in the first place, but the fact that he's going to do this and he's going to sell some, that's... Granted, it might be to the lowest of low, but he's still going to make money off of these.
Yeah.
And as somebody who creates shirts and sells them, that, let me tell you, are not racist or homophobic or like anti-Semitic or anything like that, and I don't make money from them, this motherfucker's selling anti-Semitic shit and making bank. I hate it here.
So before he shut down his ex, he said, "I would never sell a swastika tee because people could be physically harmed wearing it."
Yeah, that's the problem.
Right? That's the problem.
That's
Yeah.
the number one problem.
That's
People
the
could be
issue
beat
here.
up, as they should be.
Absolutely. That was my idea. Well, maybe
I'd pay $30 to donate to kids' programs to beat up people with a swastika t-shirt. I would do that happily. I'd pay $60 to hit them twice.
I'd gladly give him whatever I could.
Exactly. It'd be like,
To beat these
listen,
people.
I'm going to hit the lottery, and I'm just going to, like, you know what? I will cover everybody. Just let them go one after the other. It's like the most fun Royal Rumble ever.
I almost wonder if someone like hacked his website and put this shit on there.
But the thing is, like, he's so wild that you don't know whether or not he's been hacked.
Right?
It's so wild that like people like him can be like successful in Hollywood, and success is again a very relative term. I don't. It's bad.
Right here's his words. I want to make this very clear. These are his words that he posted on X before he deleted it. "I love Hitler. Now what?" I'm assuming bitches. It's all.
Why
It even says "I'm a Nazi" on there. Like, why would you post that on the social media? You had like what, 32 million followers on there?
32 million followers, and like
After saying that he would never sell a swastika t-shirts because people could get hurt.
Yeah.
Like, this is the illogical train of thought that he's going through.
Now, I don't want to say it is possible he could have gotten hacked. At the same time, there are a lot of things that make me think that he wasn't hacked and he's using that as an excuse.
I mean, and if he was, it could have been really easily cleared up.
Mm-hmm.
You could have verified that it was hacked. The fact that he didn't do that and he just doubled down, dude's a fucking joke, man. He's king clown.
So congratulations, Kanye. You might not have won a Grammy, but you won our Jag of the Week.
Jag! We need to get a button.
You mentioned that last time too.
We have to get a sound effect, Jag of the Week.
I'll add one in post.
He added that. So this is going back to his wife's dress. He added that the wearing the dress was, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce her name, his wife's decision, and he wouldn't make her do anything she didn't want to do, but that she definitely wouldn't have been able to do it without my approval. So he's saying that she can do whatever she wants, but he has to say okay.
And that's not being able to do whatever she wants.
Yeah, that makes me kind of think he pushed her into wearing something like that. That's my opinion.
I think people should check in on her and see if she's okay. If she's in like a
Stockholm syndrome type thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say hostage situation.
When did they get together?
Probably shortly after he divorced Kim.
Yeah, divorced in 2022 and got right with this other chick the same year.
Yeah. Are they married or are they just together?
Partner, so they're not married. I would assume that Sue would say spouse. But this is Wikipedia we're talking about here, so he really knows.
Wikipedia, the main source of information.
Yeah.
It doesn't help you on school essays. But
No. I really think he wrote it himself.
I was going to say knowing him, but I don't know him, and I think I'm off.
No, they are married.
They are married.
Yep. I mean, they do look a lot alike, don't they?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I really think
It's
that
almost like a doppelganger situation there.
I really think he got with her because he still wanted to be with Kim. Kanye West married Bianca just 9 months after finalizing his divorce. Let me tell you something. If I ever got divorced, which hopefully doesn't happen, I wouldn't want to be married to somebody else in the same calendar year. I don't even know if I would be with anybody else in the same calendar year.
And he was with Kim for a long time.
It was
Like
married
14?
for 8 years.
Yeah. So that's not a short period of time.
No, it's not. It's not like a Britney Spears and Jason Alexander situation where they were married for less than 2 days. I'm throwing it back I'm throwing it way back with the news because I don't pay attention to celebrity news in this day and age. So yeah, it's not a short amount of time. 8 years is quite a haul.
So what could have happened at the end of those 8 years that makes someone think, oh, I'm okay within 9 months to get with somebody else?
I don't know, maybe a CTE. Like he doesn't do anything physical knowledge, but he's got to be messed up in the head somewhere.
She's not wearing anything.
That's what I said.
That's ridiculous. I'm trying to find like what their official marriage date was. Legally married in December 2022. That is absolutely, I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Not only that, she's like almost 20 years younger than him.
You believe that old? So she's 30.
He's 47.
47. So yeah,
Not
17.
quite 20.
Yeah, but still, that's
a significant
yeah
age difference.
How old is Kim? 44. So
44. So that wasn't as bad.
Yeah. I'm not saying that large age gaps are bad,
No.
but I think in this situation, it very well could be.
See the stuff about his Christian faith. Let me tell you something. And like this may get off. Oh, jeez, we're gonna go off for another like 45 minutes about this. Christians don't act like that. At least decent Christians don't.
How about real Christians don't act like that?
Yeah, real Christian, and that gets into a whole nother scale. It's like, oh, what is a real Christian? And that's a rabbit hole we'd dive down. We'd do an episode series about that, you and I.
It'd be a very large series about any kind of religion stuff.
Because you're not known for being a religious person. I don't consider myself religious, but
I think there's a definitive difference between organized religion and being religious. There's a definite difference.
Or spiritual.
Yeah. How one conducts themselves.
And that's really it. Like, you can believe whatever you want, but if your actions don't reflect it, then...
Right, yeah.
Summed up the series there. That was
I mean, in my opinion, like, how you conduct yourself in the absence of a higher power that controls how you act via a book, scripture, or however, really proves to me who you are as a person. You shouldn't need that moral God to say to be a decent person. You know?
No, but like if you had God and like that actually legitimately drove your morality and it made you a better person, that's something else.
Right.
But if you're a piece of shit and then you just tack on, oh well, I believe in God. Well, it's like, well, good for you. You're still a piece of shit.
Taking my hat off, it's getting serious.
Greg. Oh, here we go.
So
we're getting real here on episode 2. It's only the second episode. We're getting into it.
You brought that up. This is your fault right now.
I know. It's my own fault.
These politicians.
Fucking hell.
These damn politicians that try to bring a specific religion into politics.
Oh, I hate it too.
Do not deserve to represent anybody.
No, I hate that too. Like, I hate that they use their like decision-making abilities and then saying, "Oh, it's a belief in Christ," when that really doesn't follow the teachings of Christ.
Right.
So, like,
the thing is to keep. So there's a purity to both aspects. There's a purity to government and a purity to religion, and to respect and to keep the purity of both of those things. They have to stay separate. There's no way you can intertwine them two and them to continue to be what they're supposed to be.
Frankly, I think for the majority of Americans, politics is their religion.
Right now, it really seems to be that way.
It's disgusting.
Absolutely
shit.
atrocious. I saw, holy shit. Holy shit, Greg. We were talking about this earlier. These goddamn, excuse my language there, that's a little bit. But
Yeah, that's
these damn supremacist groups.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the hell they're called, the Patriot Front or whoever they are. They were marching in Cincinnati. A group of Rubens marching in Cincinnati, right? Mm-hmm. They got their asses kicked.
Good.
And it made me so damn happy. And then I saw
Cincinnati does something good for once.
Right, I was saying Ohio did something good. Hell yeah, I'm behind it, man. These same jokers, same clowns marched in D.C. this past week. Not a damn thing was done.
Well, probably two different political leanings.
It's the same group. But
I understand it's the same group. I'm just saying in D.C. and in Cincinnati, different leanings.
Yeah.
Take from that what you will, people.
You don't go to big city Cincinnati and pull some bullshit like that.
No. I wouldn't.
That's a fast way to die. I think they're lucky that they didn't.
Imagine them trying to pull that shit in Chicago. There wouldn't be any of them left.
I want them to.
Yeah.
I'd love for them to go to Chicago and pull that bullshit.
Oh, that wouldn't fly.
Like downtown Chicago.
Downtown Chicago, it'd be like there'd be quite a firefight that night.
You know what? East Chicago. That's even worse. Mm-hmm. Like, go there and do that shit.
Yeah, there's probably a reason they went to Cincinnati instead, but they still got their ass kicked in Cincinnati.
I read that. It made me so damn happy. I'm like, good. I wish I was there to help them.
Yeah. Again, that goes back to, hey, I'd pay $30 to do that.
I would gladly spend time in jail to do that. It's worth it to me.
I don't understand what the point is for the white supremacist groups. Like, I honestly don't understand the thought process. It's like, so because you're white, you feel this superiority complex?
But it's not all whites. Don't get it twisted.
Well,
it's not all whites. It's only a certain specific white.
Okay, well, that being as it may, like, I don't understand why they feel like that's the end all be all. Like, what does it get you? Like, what's your end game?
It doesn't make any sense.
It's like, why don't you just wear a shirt that says, I have a small dick?
I drive a big truck. I got a small dick.
Same thing, right? Like, white supremacy, those guys are insane.
I have never heard a good, solid argument for it.
No, like, between them and, like, the Westboro Baptist Church. You want to talk about insane people. There are so many people out there that put bad names on. I don't even think white supremacists consider themselves Christians. God, I hope not.
Yeah, some do.
But I guess a lot of cults. Jen listens to a podcast. She listens to so many damn podcasts. I can't follow them all.
Maybe this one too.
But she listened to a podcast about cults, and a lot of cults start with the like very basic premise of Christianity, but then they twist it in like a pretzel and like throw it in like a vat of oil to just fuck it all up.
Boy, do I got a cult for you. That's another story for another episode.
Oh my gosh. Again, we go from Kanye West to white supremacy, and like,
but it lines up though, because he was posting all that nonsense.
Yeah,
you know.
At least there was a little more cohesion here. Not that Kanye is a white supremacist, obviously.
Well, maybe he thinks he is. The bullshit he was posting falls right in line with the bullshit those guys like and agree with. I wonder how they feel about it. To see a man like Kanye posting that kind of stuff.
There's probably like this odd like a malfunction in the brain that they can't process. It's like, wait a minute, he agrees with me, but he's not white. And then their brains just explode, and maybe he's doing them a favor. I don't know.
I'd really like to get someone's opinion on that.
I'd really like to get. I want to see whenever Kanye West passes away, whether it's natural causes or his brain just shuts down. might have already happened. Who knows? I would love to see the research on his brain to see what the hell happened. And if you guys have opinions on how wrong white supremacy is, send them to stateofjags@gmail.com and we'll read them on the air. Because obviously, first of all, if you're a white supremacist and you send us an email, we're going to call you out. We're going to call you a piece of shit, straight up. I'm telling you that right now.
Absolutely, I will. If you're a white supremacist, and you
we're
send me an email, include your name and your address, and we will have a long discussion. Actually, you know what? How about just your name and your phone number, and you can call into the show.
Jeez.
And we will
I don't want them having my phone number.
No, I'll call them.
Okay.
We can restrict our phone number so they don't have it.
Okay.
There's ways.
All right.
We can use computer calling, But I want to talk to you if you're a white supremacist, because you're a fucking idiot. Oh, dang it.
Our call-in... we're setting the bar very low for our call-in possibilities here.
I'm giving you the opportunity to explain yourself
good luck.
On a 2-episode podcast that... Has anybody listened to it yet?
I don't know. I haven't checked the analytics, if I'm being honest.
For some reason I remember... I don't know why I remember thinking this, but didn't he at one point in time think of himself as next coming of God?
There's a lot of people that consider themselves besides being delusional, it's also incredibly disrespectful.
Oh, so he legally changed his name. I didn't know that.
Oh, he legally changed it?
In 2021, he legally changed his name.
See, now that makes more sense with his Wikipedia entry that...
Yeah, now it does.
He's just yay. And that's not like cheering, yay. It's not that.
In the Bible, it means you. So I'm you, I'm us, it's us. That's a direct quote from him there, people.
Little bit of delusion there, I'd say so. But again, I feel like that's him acting like he's the second coming.
Everything about this guy bothers me.
I can't believe people voted for him for president. What year was that, 2020?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because I don't think... How many votes did he receive? That's going to be 2020.
It was 2020. I want to say he got...
60,000 votes.
That's 60,000 votes too many.
60,000 people voted for Kanye West to be the president of the United States. I know a lot of people don't like Donald Trump. Don't get me wrong. I didn't vote for him in this last election. I voted for myself because I don't trust anybody to run for office. Listen, the second I was eligible age-wise to run for president, I'm voting for myself from here on out because that's how seriously I take politics. And people are like, oh, you're making a joke of the system. Yep.
The system's already a joke.
Yeah, the system is so broken.
Until they do something to fix it, which they are not going to, because it's lying in their pocket and it's making things good for them.
Yeah.
It's going to continue to be a joke, and America will continue to be a laughingstock in the world.
I've said this before. I don't know if I said it last week on the podcast, but I'm pretty sure I've told you this before. Politicians have the responsibility of fixing the problems, but if they fix the problems, we don't need them anymore. So why would they fix the problems? They have to give themselves job security somehow. If they fix the problems, why would we keep them here?
It is my opinion. I believe there needs to be term limits.
There should be.
Absolutely, for every single person that runs, there needs to be some kind of term limit.
Yep.
Whether that be 8 years, 10 years, it needs to be something.
Two terms. It should be 2 terms, like the president is.
Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous that senators get 6 years a term. What the hell is that?
You gotta keep us divided, man. You gotta vote. You have to vote on something every couple years.
What makes your office more important than the president? Why doesn't everybody just have a 4-year term? Because governors and whatnot have 4-year terms, but they're the opposite 4 years.
Yeah.
They're in the middle.
Yeah.
It's how badly did you fuck this up? Just make everything align, have one election day every 4 years.
They don't believe that the American people can handle that. It'd be too much information all at once, and we wouldn't be able to make a actual decision.
So the American people are stupid.
That's exactly what they think. Exactly what they think.
I hate it here.
But I also believe that representatives of their district, state, or whomever, they should make the median income for the area they represent.
Yeah.
So whatever the median income is in Pennsylvania, I think it's what, $76,000, or it's something like that. I think that's all our representatives should make. If they want a pay raise, they have to do something to increase the wages here in the state.
I mean, that makes sense. But then you have a bunch of people flocking to New York and California and Florida to try and become.
Well, then there needs to be other rules. You have to live there for so long, or naturally born in that state.
Yeah.
Well, look at what's his name, Dr. Oz.
Yeah.
That ran for a PA. He didn't actually live here. He lived here.
I didn't think he lived here.
He had a home here, and he had residence here long enough to be able to run. So it's like 6 months out of the year or whatever it is. But he actually lived in New Jersey, I believe. But he saw what the race was like in Pennsylvania, who was running, and thought he'd be a shoo-in.
Well, yeah, because he was like, oh, yeah, Trump won as a celebrity. I'm going to try and win as a celebrity. It's like, when I say politics doesn't work, there's nothing serious about politics. Everybody takes everything like so to heart and like defends it like their life depends on it. But everything's a joke. Everything is like, if you sit back and you like take the stock you have out of whatever politics debate is going on, it's either really funny or really sad.
Yeah.
And there's no in between.
No in between.
Or it could be both. It could be both.
And lately, it's just been a who can I bash the most to make him look like an idiot. That's all the debates have boiled down into. And it's,
get rid of the debates and throw them in a cage match.
Well, if they're gonna, here's the thing.
Because then I'd watch politics.
If they're gonna have debates, it needs to be open to more than just two parties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is like, if you want the best representation of the people, why are you cutting people out?
Yeah, because they don't want that.
Of course not.
Well, that's why I can't vote in the primaries because I'm not a registered Republican or Democrat.
See, I'm a registered Republican, but that's because I've been too lazy to change my vote. Because the Republican Party is not the Republican Party I signed up for when I first started voting.
Neither is the Democrat Party. Like they're not the same party. Look at Bill Clinton. He essentially...
I missed the days of Bill Clinton. Holy shit.
In 1996, he essentially said exactly what Trump has said about immigration. And he was applauded for it.
Yeah.
But nowadays, whether people just hate the man, so they hate everything he says, but they are just crucifying him with what he's trying to do with immigration.
You know, I feel like it's almost like a sportsman. If you're not wearing the blue color jersey or the red color jersey, like,
Yeah.
and you're on the other side, you are booing the crap out of them.
Yeah.
Speaking of
That's
Trump,
all boiled down into. It's identity politics.
Trump got a big pop at the Super Bowl.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't watch Super Bowl, so.
Oh, well, it was kind of a blowout. Taylor Swift got booed.
I did see that.
Yeah.
And that made me kind of happy. And not because, it's not that I dislike her. You know, I don't like her music. But it's just the fact that I believe, this is my personal opinion here, that she's only there to draw in more viewers to the sport.
I feel like, listen, if you're dating Travis Kelce, fine. Like, I don't care. If you're there to watch him play, fine. I don't care. But you should not be a focal point of the broadcast. Like, you should be treated just like any other fan.
Yeah.
But because you are who you are, and, like, they cut to her, 7-8 times. They never cut to people in the crowd 7-8 times. They barely cut to the crowd themselves 7 to 8 times. And I think that's what drove people nuts.
Yeah.
It's like, we are not watching this game. Football fans aren't watching the game for Taylor Swift. Granted, there are Taylor Swift fans, there are Swifties out there that will watch the game solely for Taylor Swift.
And I think that's why they do it.
I'm sure
They're
that's why
drawing
they
in
do.
more viewers. And, you know, these people that started off watching just for her are now fans. Some of them. Not all of them. But some of them have actually developed into fans, which only creates more revenue for the sport, for the organization. Yeah. So I understand it.
I understand it too.
But I still disagree with it.
I don't have a problem with Taylor Swift. I don't have a problem with her dating Travis Kelce. I don't have a problem with her supporting him when the Chiefs play. I don't have a problem with that. The problem I have is making her someone who is just a bystander, somebody who's just somebody watching the game, a focal point of the broadcast.
Yep.
That's where I have the problem.
If
I wanted to watch Taylor Swift, I'd watch one of her concerts.
Right. I don't know if this is true, but I have a feeling that the NFL viewership was, going down, decreasing over recent years. and they needed something, and this just gave them that opportunity, you know?
They were like, crap, Brady retired. We need something to draw people in.
Yeah. And this fell into their lap. I don't believe that the relationship is a work. I believe it's a real relationship.
I think it is. Like, I'm not of that conspiracy theory
Yeah,
that they're
yeah,
just
me
together to boost NFL viewership. No. Like, I think that's ridiculous.
I think so too. I think it's a real thing, but it happened to fall into their lap. Like, oh, we could really use this to help get our numbers back up and make some more money. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't blame them for trying to make more money.
I can't either. It's just annoying how they're going about it.
Yeah.
Don't come after me, Swifties. I'm not knocking Taylor. I'm just saying, like, that's going to be what fills up the freaking inbox.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking Taylor, but I'm not watching a football game for her. I'm just not. There's reasons I prefer college football anyway. That's not one of them, but I prefer college over the NFL anyway. But the Steelers haven't done anything in like a decade and a half.
You can always count on them to choke, though. If I was a betting man...
You can bet on them to have a good enough season to make the playoffs.
Then choke.
And that's it. I didn't even watch the playoff game they had with them. Like I knew what was going to... Like, I think I tuned in, like, third quarter just to confirm my beliefs. I was like, oh, yeah, they're getting their ass kicked. Okay, yep, that's what I expected. It's like Notre Dame, who plays college and starts their season, like, 2-3 weeks before, and who started the playoffs 2 to 3 weeks before the NFL did, were in the playoffs longer than the Steelers. Like, if you're a college program, that should not be the case.
No, it shouldn't be.
Like, don't get me wrong. I didn't mind it. I was happy to see Notre Dame make the national championship. It gave me hope because the Steelers gave me none.
Only to get crushed.
They didn't get crushed. Like,
well, your hopes got crushed, though.
My hopes got crushed, yes.
By
hey,
Ohio State of all teams.
But hey, they lost by less points to Ohio State than the Chiefs did to the Eagles. So,
got a point.
And the Chiefs were getting their ass handed to them. Eagles were up 34-0 at one point.
I think it's impressive they came back that far.
Well, by that point, it was just like, they call it garbage time touchdowns. It's like, yeah, you're scoring, but who cares? You're not going to win.
Right. Well, here's something interesting. On November 2016, back to Kanye West, back to the original.
Thought we were done with him.
Nah, I got a couple more things, I think. I've been slowly filtering through this information that we got. West abruptly ended the concert before being committed at the recommendation of authorities to the UCLA Medical Center with hallucinations. Can't talk tonight, Jesus Christ. And paranoia. I can't talk. Come on. For a person who can't really talk that well, I should be doing a damn podcast. But
you've done pretty well up until that point.
Up to that
when
point,
you're
man.
Reading.
I know. But here's the thing. He was committed at the recommendations of authorities. So in Pennsylvania, that's called a 302. Mm-hmm. And you lose a lot of rights after you get have a 302. Like, you can't own a gun. Like, you can't do some other stuff.
So I was reading into 302s.
I don't know if it's the same in I'm assuming he was in...
well, it says UCLA, so California.
Yeah, I'm assuming he was in California. So I don't know if it's the same over there or not, but...
I mean, California, who knows?
You can't have a gun there anyway.
Lawless hellscape they are. But I was reading into 302s for reasons. And you have to have, like, a written thing in Pennsylvania?
So
like, you can't just, call and say, hey, this person's in danger.
So you actually have to... I deal with it with my job now. So, there has to be a petitioner. And that... There has to be clear and present danger that the person is going to either commit harm to themselves or others. So, they can't just say, oh, I'm going to commit suicide. They have to have furthered that plan. They can't just say, oh, I'm going to go kill this person. They have to have furthered that plan in order really for them to be truly committed on a 302. Now, there are doctors that will be like, no, there needs to be a 302, and then the 302 warrant will stand. The police can bring them in, and the police can be the petitioner, or it can be a family member. But there has to be a petitioner that says, I witnessed this on this date, here's what happened, and then they have to be seen by a doctor within 2 hours. Basically, a medical doctor by 2 hours, and then that medical doctor will make a decision whether or not that 302 actually stands.
I feel like saying that you're going to kill somebody should be enough to be 302 somebody, to be like, hey, this person is outwardly threatening this person. I think that should warrant it.
The person gets to plead their case to the doctor. Yeah. It could have just been a moment of heated, anger. You know what I mean? But if the doctor truly believes that there has to be clear and present danger that this person is going to do this or further their ideas of doing this, then that's a 3-2 committal.
Hey, we're learning something on this podcast. Well, at least I am.
I already knew that.
Yeah, you knew that because you work with it.
Yeah, I deal with that almost every day.
It's never anything I've had to deal with. I've looked into it briefly, but I never actually had to do it.
It's not a perfect system by any means.
What is?
And I think it can be abused a little too easily in certain circumstances, but it's what we got. It's what we got to deal with. So.
Oh, and this was something. This was something else too. This motherfucker, and this has become something that's bothering me more as the weeks go on, and probably part of the reason that we called him our Jag of the Week. He's blaming autism, like Elon Musk was. It's like, are you kidding me with this shit?
That's not a catch-all diagnosis.
No, it's not.
That pisses me off even more because I don't believe they truly suffer from that.
No, they just use it and be like, oh, well, that could explain it. No, it doesn't, because you probably don't have it.
No. Look at the rest of their life leading up to this point. No. Absolute bullshit.
Yeah. It's like, also, if you were famous, why didn't that come out like 20 years ago?
Right?
Why is it just now? It drives me insane when people just use diseases as excuses rather than like legitimate reasons why they're doing dumb shit.
Well, how about this? He was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2016, although his diagnosis was not made public until 2018.
Hold on.
See,
he told President Donald Trump that it was a misdiagnosis of his bipolar. Okay, let me tell you something.
It's going back and forth.
I don't care what your politics are. But when I sit here and tell you that the sitting president of the United States, odds are, is not a medical doctor, I don't think Trump went to any medical university. Why are you telling him that was a misdiagnosis? What? Do you want him to pardon your diagnosis?
Well, so he's been back and forth in politics. So he mostly has donated to left-leaning politics most of his life, right? But then, 2017 or 2016, whenever it was, he met with, that's probably when he told him, is when he met with Donald Trump to discuss, bullying, supporting teachers, all that kind of stuff. So he said he supported him then on Twitter, deleted all of that, but then came back out in 2018 and says, oh no, I do support Donald Trump, but still donates to left-leaning politics.
And this is why I don't trust anything that anybody says when it comes to political stuff. And you're just like, oh, well, I have facts and I have like these feelings to support it. It's like, listen, there's just so much hypocrisy in politics, both sides, for the record. If there's Republican ideologies that you put side by side, it's like, this is the same platform. These mean the exact opposite of each other.
Right.
Same thing with the Democrats. You line them up as like these are two opposite things, but they put them as part of their platform. How are you supposed to keep track of this? Like,
it's an absolute joke.
It's an absolute joke.
They're making a mockery of the American people. They really are.
And people fall for it.
Yeah. Because
we're
people get so focused on who they are, on their identity, especially nowadays. There's my opinion here, people, they're too scared to learn other things, not willing to learn about the other side.
Yeah.
They've been brought up a certain way their whole life. This is all they know. They're scared of change.
Yeah.
But then you have these fucking morons that give you two completely opposite solutions to one problem in the same party. And they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
You're wearing a blue jersey. You can't comprehend something on the red side. Vice versa. You're wearing a red jersey. You can't comprehend things on the blue side. And then you got the people in the middle be like, you guys are fucking idiots.
And I truly want to believe this. Whether it's right or not, I don't know. I really believe that the majority of Americans are in that middle. They understand both sides. They want to, they're willing to compromise. But only thing that's being fed to us is this radical bullshit on both sides of the aisle.
That's why when I look at the vote totals, there's 400 million people in the U.S., 300, 400 something.
Yeah.
And not even half of them vote.
Right.
Granted, I know you take out the people 18 and younger. Yeah, look up the stats, because there are a lot of people who don't vote.
Right.
And personally, I'm going to wait till you pull up the stats because I'm interested
I'm
to see.
looking. Voting eligible population turnout rate 63.9%.
So 36.1% of Americans don't vote. The ones that are eligible to vote don't vote. And to me, that signifies that 36% of people are so disengaged with politics because it's pissed them off so bad that they're like, I don't give a shit. All of you are nuts. Whoever runs the country is not going to affect my day to day. And there are some people who like sit there every single day talking about policies that don't affect them, talking about decisions that don't affect them. And they want to play like hero, whatever side they play. Like Elon Musk wants to play hero for the Republican Party, and you have a bunch of Democrats who want to play hero for the Democratic Party. It's like, guys, are any of these things paying your bills? Are any of these things putting food on your table? Are any of these things directly affecting you? Then why are you so focused on that and not focused on your own life? Like you are spending hours, days, weeks, months, years even, focused on all of this stuff, and you are missing the important parts of life.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, this is just the general election. Like if people would turn out like this for your local elections, things would change for the people everyday life.
Yeah. Local elections to me are more important than the federal ones.
Every single one's more important.
Because local elections, you can actually have that level of access with like the people running in those local offices.
The local election, those people, they're more accountable. They have to do stuff because you see their face every single day in your town.
Yeah, they are in your community. They are directly affecting your life. That is the people who you should be focused on. These people in like the Senate, in the House, in any of the branches of government, they don't know you from Adam. Do you think they do? You can tweet at them all you want. They're not going to know who you are.
They're not reading anybody. Like anyway, it's one of their aides reading that bullshit.
Yeah. It's like, do you think that they're actually going to pay attention to your social media posts?
Nope.
It's like they can look at them, they can track them, but do you think they're actually going to comprehend them and actually like respond to them?
And you gotta think, how much of that do they get a day? Thousands of bullshit like that a day. They can't read all of it, for one. They don't, for two.
That would be a miserable ass job.
Oh, it'd be horrible.
It's like, listen, that's a job I would take if it made 6 figures. Because like at that point it'd be like, okay, it's just the same bullshit every day, but at least I'm making good money.
Yeah.
But if that was like a $30,000-$40,000 a year job, it's like, you absolutely the hell not. That better be $30,000-$40,000 a month. I'm not doing that for $30,000-$40,000 a year.
Definitely not a minimum wage job.
No.
Absolutely not. Wisconsin had the higher voter turnout, 76.64%.
I mean, Pennsylvania's up in the top 10.
Yeah. Good job, Pennsylvania.
All right, go PA.
Do better.
Where's California? I want to see where they're at.
Oh.
You're scrolling a lot. There they are, 62.06. They're in the bottom half.
The bottom half, yep. Bottom third.
New York is in the bottom 10. That's concerning.
And you gotta think too, like, you can't really compare. It's not really apples to apples here, because populations are so much different. You know. Yeah,
but like California and New York are two of the states that have like a shit ton of electoral votes.
Yeah.
So to see like
they should be way up higher.
Yeah.
You would think.
You would think. But again, for those states, it might not matter. Hawaii is just over there like doing the hula dance and not giving a shit. I mean, how many of these policies directly affect Hawaii? They're not even like physically like on the same continent. Like I know they're part of North America. Don't write me. I know Hawaii is a United States. It's an island though, idiots.
A long ways away.
It is a long ways away.
I don't think people realize how far away it is from mainland.
No, there's a reason you have to do like a 2-week cruise from California because it takes that damn long to get out there.
Yeah. Well, there's a guy that had a sailboat, California to Hawaii, 30 days. It's on a sailboat, but still, like, it's a long damn time.
30 days on the sailboat. That sounds miserable.
Isn't that crazy? Shit. Then I had to turn around and do it again to come back.
At that point, I'd be like, find me some money. I'm taking a plane back. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. I can't leave his boat.
Fuck the boat.
That's something that terrifies me. Is the ocean like deep dark water? Terrifying.
As much as I have a fear of swimming, cruise ships are so fun.
You couldn't pay me enough.
Really?
No.
You will dive in sub-zero waters.
Yeah.
And get hypothermia,
Yep.
but you will not go on a cruise ship where they pay for your food.
Yep. I will not. There's a reason why I never joined the Navy. I can't do it. I don't like flying either, but I'll do that.
I mean, they say flying is the safest form of travel. Well, not recently.
Yeah, probably not recently.
But again, like I feel like those are very isolated cases.
And the problem is, it happened in highly populated areas.
Yeah.
So everybody has a phone, you know, and like happened. I have thoughts on the helicopter incident.
I feel like there's got to be something more to that.
I don't want to talk bad about it because people died.
Yeah,
Like
people died.
real people died.
And that's my thing too. Like, and it concerns me. And like, I understand why there are government conspiracies about stuff. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Maybe this is a separate episode because we're damn near an hour plus in.
I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two, Greg.
I was gonna say, are you farmers insurance?
That's one of my favorite quotes ever. I love it.
We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
That might be a separate episode.
I mean, that's gonna have to be.
I mean, it might be a good episode to have a special guest on too.
Oh boy, I can only imagine who you draw up for that.
I actually don't know, but I think it'd be a good third party episode. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Conspiracy theories.
We'll get there. This show becomes bigger, we'll get there. We'll have some special guests in house. We'll also have a better studio.
Yeah. Right now it works, but it ain't great.
Yeah. If you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, we would love to read your opinions on the air at stateofjags@gmail.com.
And that's something we actually will do, unlike your politicians. We will actually read what you write us on air.
And if we just get like 2,000 of them, we're not going to read all of them because, you know, several episodes worth of material. But we'll pick out our favorits.
If we get 2,000 of them, that's.
I mean, that could be our job. I'd be fine with that. Start the Patreon right now. But no.
Yeah, if we get 2,000, we'll start a Patreon. How about that?
There you go. If we get 2,000 emails in between episodes, we will start a Patreon and do a special Ask Us Anything episode.
That could be a lot of fun.
It could be a lot of fun. Sure, we'd dive down some rabbit holes on those too, I'm sure.
I got lots of rabbit holes. And with that, this has been the State of the Jags address. And I'm Chris. He's Greg.
Don't be a jag.